welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to make the most fantastic split pea soup. I have to say, I'm personally not a huge fan of soup. It's not my cup of soup. See what I did there? Not cup of tea, not cup of soup. Okay, moving on. But there's a few soups that I really enjoy, and eventually I will be sharing all of them with you because they are really good, and split pea soup, it's one of them. I've loved this since I was a little girl, and well, in Cuba we make split pea soup, we call it chicharo. We eat it over rice, but now that I'm a little older, I kind of really enjoy it as more of a soup, but that's also an option in case you want to try that. As you can see, I don't have many ingredients in front of me at all because you really need basic ingredients for this, which is my favorite thing. And those ingredients are, of course, your split peas. When I usually make split peas, I make half the bag. So some bags come with 12 ounces, some bags come with 16 ounces, so like a pound. I usually use half. This specific bag only had 12 ounces. So you're going to need about 6 to 8 ounces, so half the bag. If you want to make the whole bag, by all means, double this recipe. Also, this soup freezes very well, which is a plus because you just throw it in the freezer, you let it thaw out in the refrigerator, and then you can just heat it up either on the stove or in the microwave, wherever you want. Okay, back to the ingredients. Split peas, you're going to need some diced carrots. I love the sweetness that it brings. You're going to need some diced ham. This is just some plain diced ham. In the bacon section, you can find some diced ham. I've also bought before some boneless smoked pork chops. It's kind of like a ham situation, and it, has more of like a smoky flavor, which is really good. But I just like a simple ham. I do like to add some bacon, and the bacon's gonna give you some of that saltiness, gonna give me more of like a smoky flavor, which I love. Some salt and pepper, of course. Half a big yellow onion or like a small yellow onion diced. Going to need 1 potato. I'm gonna dice it in a bit. You're gonna need I have 3 cloves of garlic here because these are tiny, but you're gonna need about 1 or 2 cloves of garlic. And for spices, I have some bay leaves, I have a little bit of oregano, and a little bit of thyme. I also have some celery stalks here. I cut mine in half, so you need like about 2 celery stalks. If you like celery, you can actually dice it and cook it with the onions. I personally don't like celery. I love the flavor the celery gives stocks and soups, but I don't like biting down on celery. I don't like eating celery. I know, I'm learning. It's weird. I love the taste. I don't like to actually eat it. So I just add it, and then after it's provided all that beautiful flavor, I just remove it. But if you like celery, by all means, dice it up and add it in there. And then you're going to need, obviously, a little bit of olive oil, some chicken stock, and water. I personally like both. I do 2 cups of water, 2 cups of chicken stock. I find that if I add old chicken stock, it's a little too much for my taste. And if I add old water, it's just like, I know there's something missing. So 2 and 2, perfect for me. I have my Dutch oven here, and this is where I'm gonna make it. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna turn on the stove to medium heat, and I'm going to add my bacon right into the cold pot. I'm gonna let the bacon cook in its own fat. So I wanna render as much fat from the bacon as I can. And if you notice, the bacon is not really fatty because I did trim out most of the bacon fat, like the excess fat. I don't want that in, obviously, my soup. So I'm just gonna let it do its thing, and then we'll move on. As you can see, my bacon has been cooking for about 3 minutes, and it has rendered some of the fat. It's almost crispy. So I'm going to add the ham, and I'm gonna let that cook there with the bacon for about 2 more minutes before we add the onion. Okay, so this is looking absolutely beautiful. I'm gonna go ahead and add my onions. So I'm gonna let the onions cook for about 3 minutes before we add the garlic. That way the garlic doesn't burn. And I do think, since I did remove most of the bacon fat, my bacon really didn't render that much fat at all. So I am going to add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil so the onions can really cook. Okay, in goes our garlic, right? We're also going to add our thyme and oregano right into the oil so they can wake up a little bit. Ooh, you can smell them as soon as they hit the oil. You can smell them. This is looking pretty good. So I'm already gonna add the celery, since I'm really gonna be removing it from the actual final product. I wanted to provide me with a little more flavor. So I just let this cook. This is looking wonderful. I'm going to add my split peas right in there, along with my chicken stock and my water. Season it with a little bit of salt at this point. Remember, the bacon and the ham are quite salty, you could say, so you don't want to add too much salt now. I am going to add some black pepper. Give it a good mix, and now we want to bring this up to a boil. Then we cover it and we let it simmer. So you can see my mixture came to a boil. This is looking exactly how it should. Now I'm going to cover it. I'm going to bring the heat all the way to low. This is going to simmer for about 35 minutes, 30 to 35 minutes. If you're making that whole pack, you do want to let it simmer for about 45, 50 minutes to an hour. It's been 30 minutes. My peas have been simmering away and they're almost tender. I'm going to go ahead and remove the celery now because, like I said, it has already served its purpose, so I don't need it. So the potatoes go in, and as you can see, let me show you. I like my potato quite small, and we're gonna add in the carrots. Perfect. Look at this soup. So hearty and just delicious. I'm telling you, my house smells incredible right now, which I'm not mad about. I'm gonna bring the heat up to medium low. I'm gonna cover this again. I'm gonna let it cook for another 20-25 minutes or until your peas are nice and tender. So it's been 30 minutes and let's see. Wow. That looks beautiful. You do want to stir once in a while because you don't want anything to stick to the bottom of the pan. So you can see it's nice and it's thick and it's chunky, exactly how I like mine. So this is officially done. I'm gonna turn it off. I got a little bowl here. I'm just gonna get some of the soup. And I personally love to serve this with a little bit of parsley on top and some croutons. I don't have any croutons right now, but just the crunchiness of the croutons, the soup, delicious. I'm just gonna try it like this. I did test it for seasoning and it was perfect, but make sure you test it before you serve it to see if you need a little more salt. This is just, like you saw, it's chunky, it's full of ham, it's full of potatoes and carrots. Absolute perfection. It smells so good too. I love smelling food, even though it can be a little deceiving. Have you ever smelled something that smelled so incredible and then when you tasted it, it was a complete disappointment, and vice versa? Like sometimes I've smelled things that smelled awful, but when you taste it, it tastes like delicious. It's kind of like that, but this for sure tastes awesome and smells awesome. Just gonna let this cool a little bit. I want some bacon and I want some ham, potato, a little bit of carrot. I'm trying to grab everything in one bite. I'm being a little greedy. Oh, so good. It's like a hug in a cup. I'm telling you, I'm not a huge fan of soup, but this soup is absolutely phenomenal. It's one of my favorite soups. If you want to do it the Cuban way, eat it over some rice, some fried plantains, and you, my friend, are in business. So good. I'm just trying not to like burn the roof of my mouth. Complete perfection. that is it for today's video. If you want to get the written recipe, go on my website, anitasdelightsrecipes.com, or in the description box. I always leave a link there. If you like the recipe, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share the recipe with your friends, because it's that good. And when I like something, I share it with my friends and family. So if you like this recipe, share it with your friends and family. They'll probably thank you for it because it really is that good. So that is it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.